Well, hello there, and welcome to The Power of Surrender with Hugh, where every day we take a card from this deck here, The Power of Surrender by Dr Judith Orloff, and we discuss a card from this deck for your inspiration and food for thought during the challenging times we're living in at the moment. And today's card is Surrender, the Habit of People Pleasing. And this is something I can totally relate to, very definitely. You know, there's been times in my life where I'm very much, you want people to like you. You want to be, a nice person. You want to be a decent person. But sometimes, you do that at the loss of your own, kind of energy and your own space and your own perspective on things, and you're putting other people before you all the time. And so this is where it needs to be in moderation. So let me read to you what it says. It says, speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. That's pretty plain, right? So why it's just such an interesting phenomenon is because, just somehow we get this comfort from putting our emphasis on taking care of somebody, and there's times where people do need to be taken care of a little bit, but when you're doing it constantly and to your own loss, because you do have to take care of yourself first. As someone once said to me, if an airplane is going down and all the oxygen masks come down, before you go and help people, just take some oxygen yourself. And that's, I think, it's funny, but it's not. Really, we do need to fill up our own cup before we go around helping everyone else. And it's a very important thing that comes up. Well, look at that, the sun just burst through the window right there. Very nice. And it's definitely an enlightening subject, or it's certainly now enlightened. Speak your mind and be true to yourself. Speak your needs and be true to yourself. It's one of those, in yoga class yesterday, we were doing part of our written exercise before we got to the Kriya, the exercises. And we were separated into little groups, and we were talking about this. We were talking about, this ability to be able to say to somebody you're in a relationship with, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is where I'm at, because sometimes we become afraid to say those things, because if you do, then it's going to be not what the other person wants, or not their perspective. But it's that ability to be able to think, this is who I am, these are my needs, this is where I'm at. I think it's critically important, because you start off saying, this is what I would like, and of course the person may say yes or no, but either way you're actually saying out loud what you want, as opposed to kind of sitting there not really saying anything. It's not a good way to start. And then it says, focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. And the thing about it is, the thing I've learned about this, the perspective I've gotten, is that, look, you cannot make all the people happy all the time. It's just impossible. Even if you're bent over backwards doing everything to try and help somebody, you're not going to help make them happy, and they're never going to be satisfied. You've got to, if you're starting from a place of happiness and you're feeling solid, then it's much easier than to help people, because it's not. If you're coming from an empty space trying to help other people, it's going to end up making yourself sick, and also at the end of the day, like, you're going to disagree with people. You're not going to see things the same thing as people, and there are ways of gracefully handling that, saying, look, I respect you, but I see things differently. There's different ways of, without having an argument with somebody, where you can just plainly say, I feel differently. There's no need to have an argument just because you can't see the same point of view. There's a lot of people in America right now at the election who would disagree with that, but in an ideal world, we really should be able to voice our opinions, and even if they're different than our own, we should be able to respect them and go, you know what, I hear you, I see it differently, but there it is. So very interesting card, Surrender, the habit of people pleasing. And it is a habit, and it's a habit that can be broken. And once you're aware of it, once you're like, I'm people pleasing right now, and once you start taking care of yourself a little bit more, then you'll feel a lot better, and it'll be a lot easier to help people. In a way, this is talking about as well creating boundaries, of saying like, I'll help you, but at a certain point I do need to take care of myself, and that's partly what this is talking about as well. Anyway, interesting card, definitely food for thought there, and hopefully some inspiration in talking about it. And I'll be back tomorrow for another episode of The Power of Surrender with Hugh. Boom.